Let's take a look at the most added players on CBS. Up next on Fantasy Baseball Today Express. Welcome into FBT Express on Tuesday, April 29th. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Chris Towers. Let's start with the most added hitters in CBS leagues right now. And I would say the most popular ones, Chris. Noelvi Marte is up to 75%. Augustin Ramirez, 68%. Austin Hayes at 71%. And Jorge Polanco at 71%. So these are more of the shallow league names. And it feels like they should start to creep up even more. I think closer to 100%. How about you?
Yeah, I think for the most part, these guys all deserve to be rostered pretty much universally. Now, it depends, right? Because a lot of the leagues we're talking about at catcher especially are one catcher leagues. And, what makes Agustin Ramirez so interesting is the speed that he provides at the catcher position. I mean, what makes him so interesting right now is he's just crushing the ball and had like 9 hits in his first 4 career games. But overall, you look at the prospect package especially, and it's the 2020 upside from a catcher is really what makes him most interesting. He may not be a great points league option, although if he's going to DH regularly and hit like he has, then he'll be great no matter what. But that's one where you look at it and it's like, yeah, I can see him not being necessarily 100% rostered once he cools down. But right now, we're always chasing upside at catcher. Someone in every 12-team points league has a catcher they're not satisfied with. So I would still be chasing Agustin Ramirez, yeah.
Two kind of utility players right now that are grabbing some attention. Gavin Lux with the Reds, who's hitting for a lot of batting average, but not much besides that. And Jeff McNeil, who recently returned to the Mets, actually hit a home run here on Monday and had a really strong second half last season as well. Chris, who do you prefer between Gavin Lux and Jeff McNeil?
It's pretty close. I might give... Okay, they're actually both eligible, and I thought... For some reason, I thought Gavin Lux had third base eligibility, but it's just second base and outfield. In that case, I still probably lean Lux just because he's been playing all season. He's been productive. It's a 12-game hitting streak. He's locked in right now in a way that Jeff McNeil looks good for 3 games, but it's not quite as big of a sample size. So I guess I'll give the edge to Lux, but I actually think in the long run, I have more faith in Jeff McNeil. What he did in the second half, increased the swing speed for him in the second half, and it really helped him put up really good numbers. He was productive in spring, productive on his rehab outing, and now has 4 hits in his first 3 games since coming off the IL. So better lineup. I think in the long run, I'll give the edge to Jeff McNeil.
2 names in deeper 5 outfielder leagues. Jordan Beck has emerged for the Rockies, providing power and speed, and Andy Pages, red hot for the Dodgers right now. Who do you like between the 2, Jordan Beck or Andy Pages?
I'll give the edge to Beck. I think look, he's already been sent down to the minors once this season, so I think the floor is a lot lower. But when you're talking about these kind of players and these kinds of ads, I don't think you care how low the floor is, right? You're just chasing upside. And I think Beck has a more well-rounded skill set if he can hit consistently. Contact's been a huge issue for him, but it's not like Pages is a standout there. But Beck does have some speed based on his minor league track record, has put up decent numbers down there. I think playing time could be more consistent for him moving forward. So I'll give Beck the edge there. But I think the likeliest outcome with both of them is they're not particularly useful for fantasy.
All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this.
Right now. NorCal rivals go head-to-head. It's the USL on CBS Sports Network. Right now.
So, the most added pitchers on CBS right now, not as interesting. I think most of these names are for 2-start weeks. Andrew Heaney, Griffin Canning, JP Sears, Jose Quintana, not a 2-star pitcher. He's looked good so far this season. I think it's mostly for the 2 starters. They feel like matchup plays.
Yeah.
Are they more than that? Is any name here more than that?
So we're talking Heaney, Canning, is Reese Olson?
JP Sears and Quintana. Reese Olson is like the most added pitcher. Yeah. He's all the way up to 85%.
Yeah, okay. He's already 85% rostered, so probably don't need to include them. No, I don't think any of these guys are anything more than streamers. Like Canning, I think, is probably the most interesting talent of the group, especially landing with the Mets. Their pitching development has been really good. They've seemed to maximize a lot of similar talents. But the problem is, you see it with Tyler McGill, you see it with David Peterson. Even when they're rolling, we rarely get 6+ innings from any of these guys. I think that's going to be a limitation for the Mets because the Mets are smart and they know that these are lower rotation starters that you can squeeze a lot out of if you put them in advantageous situations. And what that usually means is not letting them face guys the third time through the lineup, especially at the top of the order. So I think while Canning is an interesting talent, there's a pretty limited upside there.
Two other interesting names. Tomoyuki Sugano on Monday had 8 strikeouts, 17 whiffs against the Yankees, and that's the first time we've seen him generate whiffs like that in a start this season. And Colin Ray, only because he has a really, really great schedule coming up here, Chris. Who would you rather take a shot on, Tomoyuki Sugano or Colin Ray?
Well, I know Colin Ray's upcoming schedule is very good. I think it's 2 starts against the Marlins coming up. He's got the Pirates this week. There's one other decent start in there as well. I don't know. Let me look up what Sugano's upcoming schedule, because I think these guys are both very much in the range where I don't know if you care about anything but the upcoming schedule. And Sugano, it is a start scheduled against the Royals at the end of this week. Then he does get the Angels the following week. And then it looks like the Twins and then at Milwaukee. So that's not a terrible schedule. The Angels start, they've been striking out a ton. They look like one of the most strikeout prone teams in baseball right now. So I do think Sugano could keep rolling with that start against the Angels, but I don't know. I feel like Monday's start was pretty much the ceiling for him. He was commanding everything excellently. 4-seamers up, sweepers, down glove side, splitters on the other side. Looked really good, but I don't think there's really a sustainable ceiling there. So I'm probably still leaning Colin Ray with the better matchups.
Let's just wrap up with some injury stashes here. 2 names that are actually returning this week, Tony Gonsolin and Lucas Giolito, and then Ryan Weathers with the Marlins, who's probably back in a couple of weeks, and then Yuri Perez, who's a dynamic talent, probably not back for another month. And then I feel like the Marlins are going to kind of ease him in and kind of play it cautiously with him. But how would you rank those 4? Gonsolin, Weathers, Yuri Perez, and Lucas Giolito?
If you don't need immediate help, Yuri Perez clearly has the most upside of these guys. He was an ERA around 3 over 90 innings as a 20-year-old 2 years ago. You look at the guys who have even taken out quality, just guys who have pitched at least 90 innings as a 20-year-old. It's like 60% Cy Young winners over the past 20 years. You like Zach Greinke, Felix Hernandez, Clayton Kershaw, like some of the best pitchers of the generation. It's really hard to get up to the majors and pitch at all as a 20-year-old, let alone pitch really well. So Yuri Perez has a ton of upside. I think he should be stashed anywhere where there's an IL spot. I'll say Gonsolin ahead of Giolito. If you're looking for immediate impact, I just have more faith that Gonsolin has more left in the tank than Giolito because he's younger. His velocity has been up in his minor league rehab assignment, whereas Giolito's has just been where it was in 2023 when he was pretty bad. So my expectations for Giolito are pretty low. And then with Ryan Weathers, I mean, the reason we got excited about him this spring, he had a pretty solid close to last season when he was healthy. He comes back this season, this spring. He's hitting 99 miles an hour, sitting a couple miles an hour up with his fastball. Well, that's what he looked like in his first rehab appearance on Sunday. He got 6 strikeouts in 3 innings. There's a lot of risk that this goes sideways, and we know it's not a great teams context, but Ryan Weathers could be an absolute difference maker if he's healthy. So if you can afford to wait 2 weeks, I think Ryan Weathers is clearly the best option here. But I will give Gonsolin the edge over Giolito for sure.
All right. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to our full-length podcast, Fantasy Baseball Today, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today Express. And I will just point out, we have a new schedule, so expect episodes on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we will not be back tomorrow, but we will be back again on Thursday. Bye-bye.